Welcome to your custom deep dive.
Oh, I love that.
Today we're exploring the Book of Ruth,
Good.
a story that, well, it packs a surprising amount of depth into just 4 short chapters.
Wow, yeah.
It's not just a touching tale of family loyalty,
Right.
but it grapples with big questions.
I like that.
About faith, providence, and even what it means to be part of God's chosen people.
It's amazing how much this seemingly simple story resonates across time.
Yeah.
And that's probably why it's been studied and interpreted in so many ways throughout history.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to set the scene,
Okay.
we're in Bethlehem during a famine,
Okay.
a time of scarcity and hardship.
Right.
And to make matters even more complex,
Right.
we're in the period of the Judges.
Okay.
Think moral ambiguity and social instability.
Oh, wow.
Not exactly a backdrop for lighthearted romance, is it?
Not at all.
Oh.
This context really throws the choices characters make into sharp relief.
Right.
Like take Naomi, for example.
Oh, yeah, Naomi.
Her name means pleasantness, but she's about to experience a level of loss that turns that meaning on its head.
It's truly heartbreaking.
Yeah.
She loses her husband, Elimelech, and then both of her sons while living in Moab.
Right.
No wonder she starts calling herself Mara,
Oh, wow.
which means bitter.
Yeah.
It really reflects the harsh realities of her situation.
And it goes beyond personal grief, too.
Right.
We have to remember that widows in that society were incredibly vulnerable.
Oh, for sure.
They relied heavily on family. And without a husband or sons,
Yeah.
Naomi's future looked incredibly bleak.
And that's where her daughters-in-law come in,
Oh.
Orpah and Ruth.
Ah.
They've also lost their husbands.
Right.
And Naomi, preparing to return to Bethlehem,
Yeah.
encourages them to go back to their own families. It's a moment of incredible selflessness.
Absolutely. She's essentially telling them,
Yeah.
don't let my misfortune become your burden.
Yeah.
You have a chance for a new life.
Right.
Don't waste it on me.
Orpah makes the understandable decision to return to her people.
Right.
But then we get to Ruth,
Okay.
and here's where things get really interesting.
Okay, I like it.
Her declaration of loyalty to Naomi is one of the most powerful passages in the entire book.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
It's a turning point in the story, and it speaks volumes about Ruth's character.
In chapter 1, verses 16 and 17,
Okay.
Ruth says to Naomi, don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you.
Wow.
Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay.
Powerful.
Your people will be my people, and your God, my God.
Right.
Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me.
Wow.
It's a powerful pledge, and the language is incredibly poetic.
It's stunning. Ruth, a Moabite woman,
Yeah.
is choosing to leave behind everything familiar.
Yay.
Her homeland, her family,
Yeah.
even her gods,
Right.
to embrace an unknown future with her mother-in-law.
Yeah.
It's a decision rooted in deep loyalty
Uh-huh.
and perhaps a hint of something even deeper,
Yeah.
a yearning for something more.
What I find so fascinating
Yeah.
is that this act of devotion isn't just personal. It has
Right.
huge implications for the future of Israel.
Oh, wow.
After all, Ruth becomes an ancestor of King David
Right.
and ultimately of Jesus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This seemingly personal story
Right.
ends up having a profound impact
Yeah.
on the entire course of history.
It really does.
But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Okay.
let's go back to Bethlehem, where Ruth is facing a very immediate concern:
Right.
survival.
Yeah.
She goes out to glean in the fields, hoping to find enough food for herself and Naomi.
Right.
And wouldn't you know it, she ends up in the field belonging to Boaz.
That's right.
This isn't just a chance encounter.
Right.
Boaz is actually a relative
Yeah.
of Naomi's deceased husband, Elimelech. She's a wealthy landowner
Okay.
and a prominent figure in the community.
Wow.
This connection will prove to be incredibly significant
Yeah.
as the story unfolds.
So Boaz sees Ruth gleaning and inquires about her.
Right.
His foreman tells him about her loyalty to Naomi and her hard work.
Right.
And it's clear that Boaz is impressed, but he doesn't just stop at being impressed.
Right.
He goes above and beyond.
He does.
Yeah.
Boaz ensures Ruth's safety and provides for her in the fields.
Okay.
He even instructs his workers to leave extra grain for her.
Wow. So thoughtful.
These actions definitely exceed typical expectations.
Yeah.
And they point to a deeper connection forming between them.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
It goes beyond simple charity.
Right.
It seems like there's something drawing him to her,
Uh-huh.
a sense of admiration for her character.
What's fascinating here
Yeah.
is the cultural context
Right.
of their interactions.
Okay.
We can't overlook the concept of the kinsman redeemer,
Right.
a deeply ingrained part of ancient Israelite law.
Right. Yeah.
It adds a layer of complexity that would have been very real to both Boaz and Ruth.
Ah, the kinsman redeemer.
Yeah.
That's the relative who has a duty to help family members in times of need, right?
Exactly.
They could intervene financially.
Right.
Or even avenge a wrong.
Exactly. And that responsibility extended to the obligation to marry a widow
Right.
of a close relative
Okay.
to continue the lineage
Right.
and preserve the family's inheritance.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
This legal and social framework
Uh-huh.
really adds another dimension
Right.
to their budding relationship.
So Naomi sees how Boaz is treating Ruth.
Yeah.
And perhaps recognizing the cultural implications of this relationship, she starts to formulate
Okay.
a rather daring plan.
Oh.
A plan that involves the threshing floor.
The threshing floor scene
Yeah.
is one of the most intriguing and debated passages in the book.
Okay.
Some interpret Naomi's instructions to Ruth as manipulative, but others see it as a strategic move
Okay.
within the social norms of the time.
Yeah.
It's a testament to the layers of meaning
Right.
embedded in this story.
I'm dying to know more.
Okay.
Can you walk us through what happens?
Well, Naomi instructs Ruth to go to the threshing floor at night,
Okay.
where Boaz is winnowing barley, and to essentially propose marriage to him.
Wow. Okay.
Now, the threshing floor wasn't just a workplace. It was seen as a place of abundance and fertility,
Okay.
symbolically linked to the harvest
Right.
and the cycle of life.
I can see how that setting adds another layer of meaning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To their encounter. It's
Right.
not just a clandestine meeting. It's taking place on sacred ground.
And it's crucial to remember we're dealing with a culture very different from our own,
Oh, for sure.
directly approaching Boaz in this manner,
Right.
while perhaps surprising to us, was likely in line with the customs of the time.
Exactly.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Okay.
How does Boaz react to Ruth's proposition?
Well, he's initially startled,
Yeah.
which is understandable given the circumstances.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
he quickly recognizes Ruth and praises her for his virtue and boldness.
Wow.
He acknowledges her worth
Okay.
and agrees to marry her.
Oh.
But
Uh-oh.
he reveals there's a complication.
Okay.
He explains that there's another relative who's a closer kinsman to Naomi,
Oh, wow.
meaning this other man has the first right
Okay.
to redeem her land and marry Ruth.
Oh, this just got even more complicated.
They did.
So it's not a straightforward happily ever after yet.
Not yet.
There are still some legal hurdles to overcome.
Exactly.
Wow.
And those legal hurdles are at the heart of our next segment.
Okay.
We'll delve into the details of the kinsman-redeemer law,
Right.
the significance of the sandal exchange, and the community's response to this unexpected turn of events.
I can't wait to unpack all of that.
It'd be good.
Listeners, make sure to join us for part 2 of our deep dive into the Book of Ruth.
Yes.
Where we'll uncover the rest of this captivating story of love, redemption, and the surprising ways that God works through seemingly ordinary lives.
Absolutely.
See you next time.
Bye.
We're back, and I'm eager to pick up where we left off.
Okay.
Last time we were on the edge of our seats. As Boaz revealed, there's another kinsman
Right.
who has the first right to redeem Naomi's land and potentially marry Ruth.
Exactly.
This sets the stage for some high-stakes legal drama, right?
It does indeed.
Yeah.
The next morning, Boaz wastes no time. He heads to the town gate,
Right.
the central hub for legal matters, and waits for the other kinsman to arrive.
So he's taking this seriously.
He is. He's clearly a man of action, determined to see this through.
This whole scene reminds me of a classic Western showdown.
Oh, yeah.
I can just picture the tension in the air as everyone gathers.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
While there might not be any duels at high noon,
Right.
the stakes are certainly high.
Yeah.
Boaz isn't just concerned with property.
Uh-huh.
He's demonstrating a deep commitment to Ruth's well-being.
That's right. It's about more than just the land.
Exactly.
So what happens when the other kinsmen arise?
Well, Boaz, always the strategist,
Yeah.
has gathered 10 of the town elders
Okay.
to witness the proceedings.
Oh, wow. Smart.
This adds weight and legitimacy to the transaction.
Yeah, for sure.
He then lays out the situation to the other kinsman,
Okay.
offering him the opportunity to buy back Naomi's land.
So far, so good.
But there's a catch.
Right. I knew there had to be a twist.
The kinsman can't just buy the land without acknowledging Ruth's place in this whole equation.
So it's not a simple real estate deal.
Yep.
There's more to it.
Exactly.
Boaz makes it clear that redeeming the land also means taking Ruth as his wife.
Right. He's essentially saying, you can't simply acquire the property and leave Ruth without a future.
It's a big ask.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a crucial detail
Right.
that reveals Boaz's character and his respect for Ruth.
It's such a turning point.
Yeah.
Boaz could have easily taken advantage of the situation and remained silent.
Right.
But he's committed to doing what's right, even if it means potentially losing Ruth.
This is where the story takes a surprising turn.
Okay, I'm listening.
The kinsman is initially interested in buying the land.
Makes sense.
It seems like a good business deal.
Yeah.
Until Boaz mentions the requirement of marrying Ruth.
Ah, there it is.
That's when the kinsman hesitates.
Oh.
He expresses concern that marrying Ruth would jeopardize his own inheritance and lineage.
It's fascinating how this seemingly simple transaction reveals the complex social dynamics at play.
Yeah.
This man's decision isn't just about property or even personal feelings.
It goes deeper than that.
Right. It's about the potential consequences for his entire family line.
And it highlights how Ruth, as a Moabite woman, would have been perceived by some within the community.
So what happens next?
Well, he doesn't agree to marry Ruth.
Oh, okay.
He decides to forego his right to the land.
Wow.
And according to ancient Israelite custom, he removes his sandal and hands it to Boaz.
What's the significance of that?
This public gesture, witnessed by the elders, symbolizes a legal transfer of rights and property.
So it's like signing on the dotted line.
Basically.
I can just picture that sandal being passed from one man to the other with all eyes fixed upon them.
Talk about a dramatic gesture.
What does Boaz do once he receives the sandal?
With the legal hurdle cleared, Boaz makes a public declaration.
Okay.
He announces that he's acquiring everything that belonged to Elimelech, Naomi's deceased husband.
Right.
And that he's taking Ruth as his wife.
It's a powerful moment.
It is.
Of affirmation.
Yeah.
Not just for Boaz and Ruth, but for Naomi as well.
Absolutely.
I bet the townspeople erupted in cheers.
Absolutely.
This is such a heartwarming turn of events.
The elders and the community shower Boaz and Ruth with blessings.
I love that.
They even compare Ruth to Rachel and Leah.
Wow.
The matriarchs who helped build the house of Israel.
That's a huge honor.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful expression of acceptance and recognition, especially considering Ruth's Moabite background.
It's incredible how this community rallies around them.
Right.
Welcoming Ruth and celebrating this union.
It speaks volumes about Boaz's standing within the community and their respect for him.
And their marriage is blessed with a son.
Yes, they name him Obed.
Obed. Okay.
The women of Bethlehem rejoice with Naomi.
I love
praising her for having a daughter-in-law who is better to you than 7 sons.
After all the hardship Naomi has endured, it's heartwarming to see her surrounded by love and support and to witness her lineage being restored.
And with the birth of Obed,
the
story takes on even greater significance.
Okay.
Remember, Obed becomes the father of Jesse, who in turn becomes the father of King David.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So this seemingly simple love story between a widow and a farmer is actually the foundation.
It is.
For one of the most important lineages in biblical history.
It is.
Wow, I did not see that coming.
And it's remarkable that Ruth, a Moabite woman, is a central figure in this lineage.
It really challenges our assumptions.
It does.
About who's in and who's out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This detail challenges traditional notions of exclusivity and highlights the expansive nature of God's grace.
It's a reminder that God's plans often unfold in ways we least expect. This is blowing my mind. I can't believe how much depth there is to this story. It's so much more than just a charming folktale.
It truly is.
Yeah.
The book of Ruth is full of symbolism, theological depth, and historical significance.
Yeah, it's got it all.
But we're not quite finished yet.
Okay.
There's still one more piece to this puzzle.
Okay, I like it.
We need to explore. The ending of the book offers a powerful reflection on lineage, legacy, and the enduring impact of faithfulness.
Okay, I'm ready for part 3.
It's going to be good.
Listeners, don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
We'll be right back to wrap up our deep dive
into
the beautiful and profound Book of Ruth. We're back for the final part of our deep dive into the Book of Ruth.
Okay.
And I'm really curious to see how it all comes together.
Mm-hmm.
We've witnessed Naomi's journey from bitterness to joy,
right?
Ruth's incredible loyalty, and Boaz's role as the faithful kinsman redeemer.
Mm-hmm.
What more could there be to uncover?
Well, we've seen how their individual stories intertwine.
Right.
But the book doesn't end with a simple happily ever after.
Okay.
It concludes with the genealogy.
Okay.
Tracing the lineage from Perez, the son of Judah and Tamar.
Right.
All the way down to Obed.
Okay.
Then to Jesse. And finally to King David.
Wow. So the story zooms out to show us the bigger picture.
Exactly.
We go from this intimate family drama to a sweeping historical narrative.
And that's what makes the ending so powerful.
Yeah.
It connects this seemingly personal story of love and redemption to the grand narrative of Israel's history.
Right.
And God's unfolding plan for his people.
It's almost like saying that Ruth's story, and by extension, Boaz and Naomi's, isn't just a self-contained event. It has ripple effects that extend far beyond their immediate circumstances.
That's a great observation.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Why is it so significant that Ruth, a Moabite woman, is included in the lineage of King David?
Right.
And ultimately of Jesus.
It's a powerful statement about the inclusiveness of God's grace.
Yeah.
Here we have a foreigner who chooses to follow the God of Israel.
Right.
And becomes an integral part of the lineage that leads to the Messiah.
Wow.
It shatters any notion that God's plan is limited by ethnicity or national origin.
It's a beautiful reminder that God's love truly knows no bounds.
Absolutely.
And it also subverts expectations in a way that I find incredibly profound.
Absolutely.
What stands out to me is how the story highlights the importance of faithfulness, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges.
Right.
Ruth's unwavering commitment to Naomi, her willingness to embrace a new life in a new land, leads her to become part of something much greater than herself.
Her story reminds us that even seemingly small acts of kindness and courage can have a lasting impact.
It's inspiring.
It is.
We never know how our actions might ripple through time and touch the lives of others.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the Book of Ruth, what are some key takeaways that our listener can reflect on?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's a story that speaks to the universal human longing for belonging, for love, for purpose.
For sure.
It shows us that even in the midst of hardship and loss, there's always hope for redemption.
And that redemption can come from the most unexpected places.
Right.
It reminds us to be open to the possibility of new beginnings and to see the potential for good, even in situations that seem bleak.
It also encourages us to think about the concept of heads, often translated as loving kindness or steadfast love.
Okay.
This theme permeates the entire story, from Ruth's devotion to Naomi, to Boaz's compassion towards Ruth, to the community's embrace of them both.
It's a beautiful reminder that we're called to extend that same hest to others, especially those who are marginalized or in need.
Right.
It's about acting with generosity, empathy, and unwavering loyalty, even when it's difficult.
The Book of Ruth, while short in length, offers profound insights into the nature of God, the complexities of human relationships, and the enduring power of hope.
It really does.
It's a story that continues to resonate across cultures and throughout history.
It's truly a timeless tale.
It is.
So, listener, we encourage you to revisit this remarkable story, to ponder its deeper meanings, and to consider how its themes of loyalty, redemption, and unexpected blessings might speak to your own life.
Absolutely.
Who knows what new insights you might uncover.
And perhaps, as you reflect on the story of Ruth, you might find yourself inspired to cultivate that same spirit of Cainist in your own interactions with the world around you.
That's a great takeaway.
Until next time.
Yes.
Keep exploring and keep seeking those hidden depths of wisdom and inspiration.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Book of Ruth.
It was my pleasure.
We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration of history, culture, and the human experience.